So for this week's video, we're playing around with MIDI data that's been generated from a video file. So what I've done is I've created a video player app which loads up a video file and then reads the data underneath the cursor to send specific MIDI data to the DAW, in my case FL Studio. I've done that using creating a Python program. I heavily use ChatGPT to help me with this program, but it's quite a simple program in practice. So I'm going to quickly go through the program to say what I've done. So it's a few different things. So the core of the program is it opens up a video file. In this case it's a MOV file, but it can open up an MPEG-4 file as well. It just is set up for MOV files. And then it plays that file, and anywhere underneath where the cursor is, it reads the pixel value. I initially had it set up to read the raw pixel value, so the data, but I found that it was too jittery. The pixel value changed too quickly, and then it made the resulting MIDI quite jumpy and glitchy. So because the aim of the music I was aiming to create was more ambient and flowing, I added a whole bunch of MIDI smoothing. I'm not going to quite cover it here, but so you can fade how quickly it changes and how quickly the MIDI data is sent. These can be changed, and before I release the code in the final version, I'll do some proper documentation to say how to change these settings and what effects they have. I think it'd be easier just to demonstrate. So when we load up the program, it opens up a video player where we can open up a folder and then select the file we want to play. So in case this is a video I made earlier on my channel, so I'll link it to what I've done. And that loads up the video file. So in the center of this program is a circle, which you can move by clicking on anywhere on the video file, and it will move to that location. The circle can grow or shrink based on the scrolling of the middle mouse button. Everything within the circle is averaged to create the MIDI data. So the larger the circle, the greater the average and the less change there is. So if you have a tiny little circle, you end up with lots of changes quite frequently because there's only a small amount of data is averaging. But if you have a great big circle, the data becomes very more static and less slow. It takes a lot of change in the underlying pixels to actually make the change in the data. The MIDI notes itself are generated based on the brightness. So it takes the RGB value of the average underneath, and then it sums them up and then works out what the brightness is from the darkest shot to the brightest shot, and then maps that to a MIDI keyboard. So I'm running a flex patch for an FL Studio. This is just Dystopian Lead, the Cityscapes one. It's one of the default ones in the FL Studio. And then I'll move the cursor location from a dark place on the image to a brighter place on the image. You can see how it affects it. So as you can see, it moved up the keyboard from the lower notes of the scale all the way up to the top end. Obviously this isn't the brightest this image can be. I can show that later on. I have the note selection with a toggle switch at the bottom here. So either I can toggle it to stick in the notes of C, so it will stick in the C major chord, so just those notes, or if you toggle it off, it will hit every note across the keyboard. So it's whether you want a continuous motion across, or if you just want to stick to musical harmony index of the C major. In principle, a future project I could add is to add other scales to this, so you could have a minor scale and a major scale kind of thing, but they'll give you very different sounds. At the bottom here we have the three values it's reading, that's basing the data off, so this is the RGB values. And then you have the area of the circle, which is the area it's sampling. So what I did to add more controls to the system is I've outputted those three values, the R, the G and the B, and the circle radius as a MIDI control value. So you can set it to other things. So for example, if I go over to the reverb, I'm going to pause the video, so go over to the reverb and then link to controller, and then at the bottom here I have the macro run 1, 2, 3 and 4, which just is a command, so you can say I want to run this and then it automatically picks it up on the DAW, and hit play. So now you can see as I move around the shot, the reverb mix changes based on the amount of red light in the shot. So that opens up the opportunity to create more intricate controls on what the actual signals are doing and how the image is affecting it. Let me add the other three controllers so we can add them to the other mixes, just so you can see the true effect of this. And we'll link that to the circle size. So now if I put the headphones back on so I can hear what the actual sound output is. So you can see all three of the knobs moving based on the video behind it. The circle is picking it up in real time, so this is coming through from the video file as the video pixels are changing behind it. I used a video I made last year, Sunset Waves, because it's quite a consistent video, so that the changes from one scene to another isn't dramatic, and the waves make a good source for a rhythmic pattern. So the waves come in and they go past the sensor, which changes the values, and then the waves go out again and then it changes the value again. So there is two main ways of playing this instrument. You can either play it by putting the circle somewhere and then the video happening in the background to move, so the waves coming in and out changing the brightness of the image, or you can play it by clicking around the image. So if I click on a low scene here in the dark, it picks a low note and the other things are affected as well. But if I pick a bright scene, it's a similar thing. So you can play the instrument, play the MIDI instrument by picking the different brightnesses within your shot. In principle, you could set this up, which I'm going to plan to do in a future upgrade on it, to pick up a live feed, so you could pick it up from a webcam or something, and then you could interact with it kind of by holding up a different thing or shining different lights at the camera to get the different values. I think that it works best with like pads or violins or strings, something that morphs between one sound and another. I have had a play with short punchy instruments like piano and xylophone and that sort of thing, and unless you have quite a bit of reverb or chorus or delay kind of thing on it to soften it, it can be a bit abrasive because it's playing the notes quite quickly in repetition, and a lot of the notes are the same because it's only moving from one note to the next, so it's not jumping at all. One problem I have had, which you may be able to help me with because I haven't been able to solve it, is I haven't managed to get the notes, the MIDI data, to flow nicely into pigments, which is from Arturia. So the MIDI data itself is coming in, so I can move the thing around and I get the different notes to play, which works well, but I can't seem to get the other controls to come across. So what I did is I mapped the MIDI data to come out of channels 16, 17, 18 and 19 with the hope that it would work here with the macros, which control these ones here. So these are the macros on the thing, but they don't go across and I can't find a way of doing it. I've tried hitting the learn and then running the macros, why I wrote them, but they don't seem to be coming across into these. Maybe someone will be able to advise what I'm doing wrong here because I can't work out what's wrong with it. As I said, this is a working project that I hope to carry on adding features to as I go. I'm going to add this code I've got as it is to a GitHub repository so people can have a play with it if they like. Let me know what you think of it, and if you think I need to add any new features or any other things that you think this could be used for, please let me know.